the Advanced Matter Management channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to save your sanity and let ClickUp be your friend. I'm Catherine Porter, and I'm an attorney in California with over 20 years of litigation experience at both the federal and state levels. I'm also the founder and principal consultant at The Resource Woman, LLC. We work with law firms to help set up their systems and strategies so that even the most complex matters practically manage themselves. You probably have guessed that I'm a big fan of ClickUp, but there are some features that I wish maybe were a little different. And one of those is the default settings that are applied whenever a new user is added to a space. If these settings aren't changed, ClickUp can get out of hand really quickly. And when users feel overwhelmed by too much information, they're going to start hating the tool and not using it, and then you've lost the value of having a tool like ClickUp in place. So I'm going to show you now how to change some of those settings as soon as you are onboarded to ClickUp, and to make sure that you actually have a good relationship with ClickUp. All right, so first I'm going to go down to this icon. If you're an admin, you will have two circles. But if you are not an admin, then you'll just have the one. So you're going to click on the circle with your name or initials, or in my case, my picture. And I'm going to go up to my settings. So I have my settings up here. And this is more or less where you make ClickUp look the way you'd like it to look. So you can do, your email will be populated. If you want to change your password, this is where you do that as well. You can choose a color theme, which means these little lines, this pink color, so you can see some of my words and buttons and things are that color. So that's just a personal preference. Obviously, language and time zone are pretty self-explanatory. I like this one on, this don't post comments with enter, because I typically like to put more than one line in my comments. First of all, I just noticed that I do that a lot. And so I can't even tell you the number of times I've typed a comment, hit enter, and then the comment goes up, and I'm like, oh wait, I wasn't done yet. And then I have to do two comments, which is not a big deal, but since I changed it to actually not post a comment when I hit enter, it's been a little bit easier for me to use that. So that's just my personal preference on that one. You can see how I like the bright mode. So I do the bright mode, but if you want it to be in the dark mode, you could do that, and it will just adjust, and so that everything will be black. And you'll see an example. I have mine kind of half and half. So anyway, so I have dark mode disabled, and if I did want to save it, turn it on, I turn it on, and any of these things you change, you want to go back down here to your bottom button, bottom right, and save those changes so that they stick. The next thing that is really important to look at are your notifications. And this is where when I mentioned that it can get really out of hand if you don't have these set sooner rather than later. So I'm going to click into my notifications, and you're going to see a lot of choices. And this is one of the things I wish the default was a little bit simpler in ClickUp, and that because as it is, we have to turn a lot of things off. But I do recommend that you pretty much turn off everything that you possibly can turn off. And it takes a little bit of time just because you have to uncheck. Honestly, I think unless you're an admin, pretty much the only things you really need to have turned on or to get notified about are things that are assigned to you, or if comment mentions you, or a task mentions you, or etc., things like that. Anytime that is directly to you. But you also have control over how you get those notifications. So first of all, let me just show you down the list here what are some of the settings that you can choose. So assign comments. I see a lot of people make the mistake of thinking this means a comment's assigned to you. It doesn't. It means any comment that's assigned to anyone. And you can tell that because two more down, comments assigned to me. So I would recommend, I don't think there's really any reason that you want to have this on. It won't let you turn off everything, but on some of them, but you can, like if it's got an asterisk here, that means that's always going to stay on, but it's not that big a deal. So you probably don't need assigned comments. So to quickly change things for all across the board, you can click this double check mark, and then I do it twice because I already had it set the way I wanted. So now I've turned everything off. And the same thing goes for comments. You resolved comments, you probably don't need to know those. Comments assigned to me. Now that's one you probably do want to get notified about, but you do have control over how to get those notifications. If you have the mobile app and you have your settings on your mobile device set to allow ClickUp to send notifications, You can do that. The web and app is the default, so you can't really change that. I know some people are still really wedded to their inboxes and their email platform, so they don't want to necessarily have to check in ClickUp for something else. I think it's fine. I would like to see people doing communications about tasks all within the ClickUp platform, but I also understand that people are just more comfortable with email. So you can have your be notified when comments are assigned to you via email. And the nice thing too about this is that if you've got some people that live in ClickUp and other people that live in their inboxes, you can actually use the you reply to that message in your inbox in your email, and it will just add the reply to the comment in ClickUp. So that's kind of a nice hybrid approach for people who are more comfortable and want to stay in their inbox more. Comments I mentioned in, again, you probably want to turn that on because you want to know when people mentioned you, but you do want to say, do you want it by email? Do you want it in the app, in the browser? So you want to be selective about where and how you receive those. So going on down the list, here is new tasks created if you want to be notified. Probably, unless you're an admin, you probably want to say, don't notify me when new tasks are created. Because if it gets assigned to you or if somebody puts a comment into you, then you'll get notified anyway. So you might not want to get notified every time a task is created, especially during the first few weeks when your firm is using ClickUp, because you're probably going to get a lot of tasks created as things are built out. So you don't want to get notified every time that happens. Assignee changes, again, you probably don't care about those unless you are the assignee, in which case you'll get notified notify me when tasks are assigned. Tasks assigned to me, I just said. Status changes, you don't maybe want to know about every status change, but if it's a change because if it's a change on a task that you're either assigned to or you're a watcher on, then that is going to automatically generate notifications to you anyway, so you probably want to turn those off. Waiting on and blocking the dependencies. If you're not going to be going into ClickUp and checking on a regular basis for things that are waiting on other people's tasks, then you probably do want to get notified on that. Again, it's personal preference and how many dependencies your firm is really using. And the dependency is either blocking, like this can't get done until this gets done, or this is waiting on some other tasks to get done. So those are kind of two of the dependencies that are commonly used. And so if you want to know a task that you've been waiting for somebody else to finish. So if you have a task that you're assigned to and it's waiting on someone else's task, and that task is unblocked, like it's completed, and so now you can do your task, you might want to get notified on that. And that depends really on the firm and how you're using those dependencies. Again, descriptions I mentioned I would turn that on and your preferred notification style type. Checklist items created, probably not. Checklist items assigned to me, then yes. Start dates, you do want to be notified when a start date changes on every task, or do you want to, or due date, or just ones that are assigned. You probably just want assigned unless you're an admin. Same thing, due date overdue, if you want to just see that for your own tasks, or if you're an admin, you might want to see it on all tasks. You can have these reminders set up for when a due date is approaching or when a start date is approaching, if you're using start dates. Daily summary, that's up to you. ClickUps are some of the tools in ClickUp that as an admin user has the ability to turn off or turn on for any particular folder or space. And so you can change priority, adding tags, or if you want to know when those things change, then yes, you do want to do that. If time estimate is added or changed, do you want to be notified about that? If that is something that has been enabled on your in your ClickUp. Same thing. So a lot of these are depending on whether or not you have them enabled or not. Now, ClickBot notifications, that's when something happens automatically based on that. So if ClickBot changed the status based on some other task being complete or a checklist item being resolved, and you have an automation that says when this happens, close this task. Do you want to know that ClickBot closed the task? Again, probably not unless you are an admin. Integrations, that's just something that's going to depend on your firm and what you guys have, what other tools you're using that talk to ClickUp. So I don't have any, so I'm just leaving all those alone. List information, much like the tasks and the comments, as you want to know if you're mentioned in something or assigned to something. Do you want to know when somebody's reacted to your comment? So you can kind of see lists assigned to you. Again, that's probably what you want to do. Chat views. I like chat views. They're a great replacement for inboxes, the email inbox, because it keeps things relevant to the particular task that you're talking about, and it keeps a record. It's easier to find than having to dig through, 400 emails to get, what was the email about? Barbara's case? I don't remember. So so I do like to use the chat view, but again, you probably only want to be notified if you're actually mentioned in a comment in the chat. Your inbox is something that is on your home screen, and I will show you that in another video all about the home page. But what do you want to see on that page? Whether you want to see reminders or not, it's up to you. Sharing, if a task is shared, that's when someone else shares a task with you. So maybe they're sending you an email saying, hey, can you help me out on this? And they might mention the task. And then, so that's been shared with you. So that's one way to, if you want to be notified when that happens, again, you can control how you get notified. And then documents, ClickUp Docs. Again, I recommend pages you're mentioned in. You probably want to turn that on. So I can just turn that on here like that. So you can do things in bulk by checking on the double hovering to the name, to the right of the name of whatever it is you're looking at. And you can click on that double check mark, and that will either turn everything on or turn everything off. If you've turned everything off, like I have done, again, it won't let me turn this one off, but that's fine. And that won't get as annoying, hopefully. So I can turn everything off. Now I can turn everything on. So I recommend as you go through your notifications, if you want to just go down and just click turn everything off and then go back and add the things on that you really want. That's one way to do it. But you can also, so you can just turn this on, turn it off, and then add back in. Let's say I want to get notifications in my browser. So I could click on that over there. So now we're going to hop back over to the ClickUp space. I'm going to talk about another thing that I really recommend doing in your first hour in ClickUp. All right, so here we are, and you can see I have the dark mode sidebar and then the main task area light colored. That's just, I like to do that, especially when I'm doing videos, because it really marks that distinction between the sidebar and the task area. So one of the things that I really think is a good idea to do when you are first getting into ClickUp for yourself is to do kind of a brain dump of all those routine and regular tasks that you do, either weekly, monthly, daily, whatever it is, and put those into ClickUp. And to do this, we need to create a list. So if you are the admin or the account owner and you're actually setting up the ClickUp, then you might want to create a space. If you're a user, you can create a space yourself, like clicking on this new space, and it'll walk you through a bunch of choices. It can take a little while, but otherwise you can always just put a list in any of the existing folders. So I can say I'm just going to put it in business operations, and when I'm in a space, I can simply click on this plus sign and I can create a list. It doesn't have to be in a folder. I can just create this list. I can give it a name. So I'm going to say Kathy's routine tasks and create that list. And there's my list inside this business operations space. Now, if I want it to be where no one else can see it, it's just for me, I can go to the list settings. So there's the ellipsis on the right-hand side. I can go to sharing and permissions, and I can say make private. And now no one else can see it unless I invite them or I add them down here. So now I can just see this. And this, I really recommend doing this because then you can always move the tasks later. You probably will want to, especially if you're an admin, you want to see maybe every task that's assigned to people, and you just want to see everything in one place. So, but this is just to get started. I think it's a good point to just help yourself use ClickUp. So let's say, so I can just start from scratch for statuses, or I can apply whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just gonna apply because we're just doing a brain dump at this point. Okay, so one of the tasks that we do, or we're supposed to do every day, right, is enter our time. Then we want to enter time, but we also want to make sure when you're creating these tasks, assign them to yourself and set a due date. So maybe this is every day, right? So I can say it's due today, and then I also want to make it recurring. So let me set recurring. Recur weekly. I actually want this one daily. I want to recur when it's closed. So when I'm done entering my time that for the day, I'll come in here and check the box, and then it'll recur and just keep recurring. So, all right, so save my changes there. And now you can see I've got a little circle saying it's due today, but it's going to recur every week. So then at the end of the day, when I've entered my time, I can come in here and I can close the task, and then it'll create a new task. So I've assigned it to myself. I've given it a due date. And another task that we do monthly is to review client bills. So I'm going to say review client bills for previous month. And I am going to assign that to myself. And I'm going to give it a due date. So typically we do that in the first few days of the month. We usually do that in the first few days of the new month. So I'm going to just set aside. So I'm going to say I want it to be done by May 5th. And I'm going to set recurring again to recur monthly. And maybe by the first, I like to do, like, it gives you, instead of same day each month, which is the default, I like to choose, the first Thursday, first day of the month. So I'm going to say first Thursday of the month, recur forever, recur when closed, save, boom. Okay, so then, and we can always add subtasks too if you have multiple clients that you're responsible for, or if you're waiting on someone else to do something to actually run the bills, then, you can fill those in too. But for now, these are just your tasks. You're just trying to dump down everything that you do on a regular basis. So some other tasks might be if you go to a certain industry event every month. Like I was involved with the industry called the Right-of-Way Association, so it's IRWA, and that was the second Tuesday of every month. So again, I would assign it to myself and give it a due date. It's going to be the second Tuesday of the month, and it's going to recur monthly on the second Tuesday. So you saw me do that. You saw me do that on the last one, so I'm just going to skip that for now. Okay, so you get the idea. And other things, you might have practice group meetings or partnership meetings or other kinds of events that you have, or tasks that you do on a regular basis, whether it's reviewing other people's time records, or reviewing the firm financials, or banking, things like anything like paying bills, tracking expenses. That might be something you'd go there. So just the routine things that you do, just all the things that you pretty much do no matter what, every day, week, month, etc. And you can use the recurring settings to make sure that repeats and it comes up on your to-do list at the right time. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the Advanced Matter Management channel, or you can also set up. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to the Advanced Matter Management channel. You can also head on over to theresourcewoman.com to learn on how the right resources can help you manage your cases and all your matters more smoothly, efficiently, and profitably.